So I saw Blockers, and I was pretty disappointed. Now I went in with high expectations because John Cena, very underrated, very funny. Every comedy I've seen him in, he's had small roles so far. He's been so good, and he was great in this. Now the writing and the dialogue, one of the biggest letdowns for this movie, I thought it was pretty weak, but a lot of the actors, they sold lines that shouldn't have been funny, none more so than John Cena. Just the way he carries himself, his facial expressions. He's funny when he gets earnest and emotional, just for a guy his size. He's funny when he plays to type and is just aggressive, typical jock. So he was just great. And Leslie Mann, big fan of her as well. This is 40 is one of my favorite movies. She's great in that, and she plays kind of a similar role here, the uptight, high-strung mom, but still very endearing and very likable. So great actors, and like I say, the critics were raving about this, so I went with high expectations, and is pretty disappointing. The writing is not that great, not that sharp. It's not as funny as Game Night at all, and I didn't even think Game Night was that great, but Game Night was much better than this. So very disappointing. And the message, I'll get to that. There's no message that this is preaching. The message is sex is not the end of the world. It's not going to ruin your life. It's not something that's sacred, but preferably you should take it seriously, do it with someone you care about and know a little bit. That's not a new message. That's the same message that's basically in every movie about sex that's ever been. So, and I guess you could say it's driving home this point that there's all this talk about, you have sex, you lose your virtue, and you have to be virtuous. And just with kids these days and how modern everything is, these three girls who were trying to have sex, they didn't seem to have much innocence or virtue to speak of. They swore, they drank, they did drugs. They're very adult, so any idea that there was anything to lose by having sex and any kind of loss of innocence, that innocence was lost long ago. And also I did like they drove home that for these parents, maybe they would talk about some kind of virtue, but really it was about sex symbolizing adulthood and independence from them, and really when they didn't want their daughters to have sex, it wasn't that they felt, oh no, they won't have virtue and they won't find a husband. It's not like that anymore. No, it's they wanted to keep them close to them, and they were scared that what sex symbolized them not needing them anymore. So that little wrinkle, but again, I'll just say this movie is everything that critics are saying it's not. It's just a gross out, raunchy, dick jokes, eggplant emoji jokes, and then you throw in a little sprinkle of actually kind of a nice, heartfelt message about sex being kind of important, and you should do it with people you care about, which is every movie about sex, every sex comedy ever. So don't think there's anything groundbreaking, anything must see, and the writing is not that great, the jokes aren't that great, so it's very average and mediocre at best, which disappointment, because honestly John Cena is great, he deserves better, Leslie Mann deserves better, and honestly all the actors were really great in this. They deserved a better script for sure. And I will say, when they were gonna have sex but then they danced together first, that was really sweet, and the fact that they had that and then also all these shenanigans and hijinks, it's kind of impressive that they were able to juggle both those things. But yeah, there were a few very, very, very sweet moments in this movie, so I don't want to take that away from it.